No sweat.
Well, if there are any jitters, they should be over after the first frame, huh?
Well, you hope. It depends. I mean, major championships, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Chris coming in light, just leaving the 9-pin. And, you know, early on, I know it's only 2 frames, but to me, he looks a little bit out of his comfort zone. It looks like he's hooking it a little bit more than I think he would like to. Changes to a ball that goes much straighter. And, you know, a great tip we always talk about, throwing the ball straight at single pin spares.
Gives you that wry smile, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's just a relief that he's still clean through 2 frames. Both players staying clean. Chris Hayden down by only 1 pin. Hasn't hit flush, hasn't hit the pocket yet. And this lane, last shot, missed the head pin.
PBA regional titles, 4 years as a pro for Chris Hayden, but still looking for his first national title.
Chris goes high, leaving only the 4-pin, a great break. And we see this time and time again. The shot prior on that lane, he misses the head pin. Compensation, he goes high. Fortunate just leaving the 4-pin. Still clean. Dave Arnold's ball reaction early on looks terrific. At this stage, I would have to give the edge to him, judging by the fact that Chris Hayden hasn't hit the pocket yet.
Won the very first PBA event he bowled in.
Dave Arnold goes high, leaving the 3-pin. And just a beautiful form and style, beautiful swing, great balance. This ball looked like it was left of target. And I'm telling you right now, you only have to miss by a hair to not hit the pocket out there. Execution is a must. Which it should be in a major championship.
You know, you were telling me yesterday that he likes to roll it straight, but he can hook it. But we're seeing a lot of action on the ball early on. Has he changed his style at all, and if so, why?
Well, I think that he's hooking it a little bit more than he normally does. However, you know, he's very versatile. He can hook the entire lane if he wants to, but his A game, his strength is going straight.
Max score of 269 up by a pin.
Same identical hit, time before last on that lane, leaving the ring in 10. Carbon copy, 6-pin goes around, and just not a good break.
Like one of your putts, he was robbed.
Yeah, it's like hitting the collar and popping back out. Cross lane, straight and hard. Well done.
You get the feeling if one of them, either Dave or Chris, can get on a roll and maybe post 3 strikes in a row, you might have an advantage.
Yeah, I agree. You know, not to mention the fact of how much pressure that would put on your opponent. One guy's having a hard time hitting the pocket. The next guy, the other guy gets up and throws a 3-bagger, and all of a sudden you feel like you're wearing a tourniquet around your neck. Chris Hayden, right lane, down by 10.
Well, the PBA Tour heads east to the Bowlers Club in Latham, New York for the Parker Bone Empire State Open. Can Pete Weber repeat as champion? Find out next week, next Sunday, 12:30 Eastern Time live, as we bring you all the exciting action of the championship final rounds, the Parker Bone Empire State Open.
Now Chris Hayden, left lane, strike working, another strike, 20-pin lead.
Yeah, baby. Yes.
Well, he had trouble hitting the pocket the first couple of frames. What he's done now, he's using two different balls, one on the right lane, one on the left lane, and just a fantastic adjustment. That takes a little maple moxie.
And finally the smile after 2 in a row. Got a break, got the high.
Yep, went high, got a break, only leaving the 610, and last 2 shots, both going high. And right now, I think for Dave Arnold, it's a speed adjustment on the right lane. Looks great off his hand, nice and clean, and just duck hooks in the back end. And one of the ways you can control the back end hook is by ball speed.
Whoa.
All right.
Almost.
Take it easy.
You know, talking about Parker Bone, he missed by 105 pins. He qualified 9th. That's pretty good after 56 games. And Pete Weber just missed by 74 pins.
Yeah, well, you know, Parker won the first tournament of the year. Pete Weber getting back into things after a little vacation. And next week, Parker's looking to do some good things at the tournament that's named after him. Now, Dave Arnold, down by 22, looking to get rid of the 10-pin on the left lane.
Struck in the first and strikes there in the 5th. Chris Hayden in the lead, but it's early. The winner gets Jeff Lizzi from Sandusky, Ohio. One whole section filled with Lizzi and the relatives and family and friends. Chris Hayden.
Light again, leaving the 3-9. Could have been ugly, leaving the 7-pin with that. Difficult spare. You've got to cover the back pin, the 9-pin. See the ball just not getting enough of the head pin. Should move left off his strike ball using the same target, ball hooking into the spare. This is one where you don't want to try to hook it. I'm sorry, try to throw it straight. Of course you want to hook it.
Make up your mind.
I'm sorry.
It got so quiet you could hear your credit card drop.
Thank you. Take a look at this form. Very deliberate. Notice how straight up and down his body is. Tall guy, long arms. Notice how he gradually goes from straight up and down to nice and low, and great knee bend. Look at that leverage. Great balance. Good idea to start tall, finish low.
Two strikes in the 4th and the 5th. Good news for Chris. Nothing open.
Well, they're filling frames, you know, no open frames. A key when the lanes are tough. This ball goes high, leaving the 6-10. And he's hoping that he's going to get a little break and trip the 6-10 out. And he's like, oh, all right. Cover the spare. Nicely done.
Pretty consistent. Okay, he can inhale now.
Okay, deep breath.
All right, David needs to get on a roll.
Well, he needs to put a couple together. Last 2 shots on this right lane have been high. Interesting to see what kind of an adjustment he makes. A strike here will give him a 2-pin lead. You can see that he picked up the ball speed and controlled the back end. Beautiful shot. Let's take a look at Dave's form here. Beautiful 4-step approach. Shoulders are back. Nice level back push away. Head high backswing. Look at that position there. Again, the great knee bend. And look at that follow through right at the target. And watch the action of the head pin going to the sidewall and doing its stuff.
Going back to what you were saying at the top of the telecast about the lane conditions, you actually thought lane conditions might favor a bowler like Dave Arnold because?
Well, I think that when they get really tough, you've got to go straight. Straighter is greater when they're brutal, and he likes to go straight. Keeping it in play, just like that shot right there for a three-bagger. All of a sudden, we have Chris Hayden down by 12. Getting down to crunch time, 8th, 9th, and 10th frames. Time to start striking. See, now that's the one I was talking about, the frame before.
Captain Striker, Captain Over here.
What a great break. Watch this shot here. He went high the last time in this lane. Gives this one a pinch more room to the left. And watch the action. The head pin going to the sidewall, tripping the 6-10 out. Look at those eyes. Come on, baby. Yes!
Can you spell intensity?
It's on right now. The game is on. Oh! Well, if you take a look at his reaction when he let go of it, I think he was real fortunate that he only left the 4-pin. That ball was right out of his hand immediately. It was going high the whole way. Watch this. Looks like he just bailed right out of that shot.
You know, one of the hot topics in the bowling world these days, the new American Bowling Congress Sport League program. Sport bowling being offered to those bowlers who wish to compete in the most challenging of lane conditions. The PBA, an active participant with the ABC in promoting the program, so look for Sport League bowling starting at your center this fall.
Now, 9th frame, foundation frame. Dave Arnold can really put the hammer to Chris Hayden.
Bingo, looking for his 3rd PBA national title. Both of his previous wins against Walter Ray Williams Jr.
I told you, this guy's tough. It doesn't matter. Now watch the action. This ball going into the switch zone. Head pin going to the wall. 5-pin actually goes into the 7. And he likes it. Now, any mark, 10th frame. He's a winner. But remember, easier said than done on this condition. How about that? That's known in the biz as dead flush.
And that look on the face of Chris, he knows.
Yeah, Chris right now is kind of feeling like the first person to be kicked off the island, survivor. But, you know, the one thing he can take away from this is he knows that he now belongs. He made the championship round in a major format, major tournament on brutal conditions. The spare here, that'll give Dave Arnold 235. Pretty strong. And, you know, when I said he needed to pick up his ball speed, I think he was tuning in, because it looks like he amped it up a bit, going a little bit straighter, and that helped him throw that 5-bagger towards the end of the game.
.235, the magic number. Good start.
Real good start for Dave. Chris finishing out. Great week for him. He can learn from the experience here. You know, a lot of times, Jim, it's real difficult. Championship round, you don't have a ball reaction. It's only a 1-game match. If you don't make the right moves, the right guesses, the right changes, hard to hit the pocket.
Well, you can feel the tension in the air early this morning. But if you really want to feel some tension, how about yesterday for hours and hours on end and what they go through?
Yeah, you know, that's the one thing the folks at home don't see is the match play, the qualifying. You know, you got to make it through qualifying. If you don't make match play, you don't have a chance to win. Then once you get the match play, another 24 games of bowling. 30 bonus pins for winning matches. A good showing anyway. 214 for Chris Hayden.
And a good week for Chris Hayden out of Tampa, Florida. That man, Dave Arnold, advances. You want to hear some noise when we come back? Most of Sandusky, Ohio's here. Why? Jeff Lizzi.
Well, you know, I think the pressure is what the players make of it. You know, what's going through their mind, what they're thinking. If they're thinking the right thoughts, they can use that pressure to their advantage. If they're thinking about TV, money, all this other stuff, it could be difficult pulling the trigger. Well, Jeff Lizzi coming in light, leaving the 2-8-10. He's deeper, further inside than Dave Arnold. Ball going further right. And I don't know, I think that ball was either too far to the right or he just missed it at the bottom of the swing. This split here, you got to throw it hard and straight at the 2-8 and hope that you bounce something out. Or cover the 2-8 like Jeff did and just cover the count.
Sometimes, like in golf, right, it's not the worst thing to get that bad shot out of the way early.
If you're going to open, the best time to do it is the first frame. This is what makes the sport so difficult. First shot goes light. Now the next shot tendency is to go high, to miss left. You want to avoid doing the same mistake twice. Like that. Jeff looks a little bit confused, not really sure what his ball's doing, what his ball's going to do when it leaves his hand. This ball doesn't go as near as far to the right and just grips the lane and goes high. A good break this time, only leaving the 3-pin.
Well, we talked about all the family and friends of Jeff that are here, and sometimes that just added pressure.
Yeah, I think it's tough bowling in front of the fans, bowling in the hometown. It was always difficult for myself. I'd rather bowl somewhere where they didn't know me.
Dave Arnold and success factor today in match number 1.
Hit both lanes fairly well. 3 strikes on each, but the big thing, no open frames. That ball was OB, leaving the 1-2-8-10. You can see that it was just right off his hand. The ball's not going to hook from that spot. Lucky it stayed on the lane. Now, the thing here is you got to get the ball left of the head pin, throw the head pin over into the 10 pin, and the ball will cover the 2-pin, throwing the 2-pin into the 8.
That first ball was right of Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, that was right of right. All right, well, now here's the thing. You know, we got to regroup. Open frame in the second. Just a 1-pin difference. He knows he made a bad shot. You know, it's going to happen. Deep breath, back on it. He's been hitting both lanes extremely well. He knows what to do. Great shot. Doesn't overcompensate, not going high on the left lane.
Jeff was talking about the 14 Toledo area bowlers that were trying to make it as far as he advanced. He says he feels like the Lone Ranger out here. He says the regional bowlers are not used to the pressure that the touring guys are.
Yeah, that's true. It's so much different out here. Wow.
That is Jeff's wife, Kathy, who is also a bowler.
And she just said, great shot, which it was. First shot of that lane, 2-8-10. Nice adjustment. Not a great break leaving the 10 pin. However, did hit the pocket. Jeff's got to get through those first couple of frames, get rid of those jitters. I look for him to start striking.
Tune in tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern Time for primetime coverage. Catch the highlight show at midnight. For more information on the Winter X Games on ESPN, log on to ESPN.com. Some of the moves that they make when they're airborne on skis are just mind-boggling.
Yeah, you won't see me trying it.
You made a good point early. He does look just a bit confused.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of he's a little confused and he's a little tight. I think right now he knows that the left lane definitely hooks more, needs to move in. High, the last shot on that lane, this ball gets further right and also hooks high. The good news is this tells Jeff Lizzi that he can move further left and should have a little bit of room to the right. Jeff hasn't really, he's only hit the pocket one time. He's only down by 3 pins. However, Dave Arnold working on a strike. With a strike in the 4th, can increase his lead to 13. Well, that ball drifts high. A lot better than the shot before on that lane. This spare is a lot easier than the wash shot he shot at earlier. That ball cuts right through the face. Only leaving the 610. That could have been Grandma's teeth real easy. That would be the Greek church, Jim.
Now that grandmothers across the country have been offended by the pride of Hollywood, Florida. I mentioned that Dave Arnold has been a touring pro for 14 years with 2 national titles, but no major. What would winning here mean?
I think that anybody who wins a major championship is a cut above the rest of the players. I mean, it just means it's the toughest field to beat, and it means something extra.
Randy Peterson won this championship back in '87. What did it mean to your career?
It was, it gave me a jump start. I actually won this tournament and then won the following week. So it was a great jump start for my career. And a great shot there from Dave Arnold,
who dispensed with Chris Hayden in match number 1, 235 to 214.
Watch this shot right around the 3rd arrow, out to about the 10 board. Notice not a lot of belly. That ball faces up, almost looks like it rolls up and stops. Ends up dead flush, 10 in the pit. Now Jeff Lizzi, 5th frame. Time to get it going.
And you see that look, he knows it. Open in the 1st. Bingo. Take a ball.
What a great shot. His fan club's here. His wife loved it. Let's take a look at this form. A very strong individual. Has to put all the weight of the ball in his hand and make his swing nice and relaxed. Now, look at the top of the backswing. Look at the cup in his wrist. And watch the power in the downswing. That's power. And watch the action. The 6-pin goes to the wall and cuts the 10 out.
'20th in the PBA World Power Rankings. Doubles.
There he did. Did exactly what we were talking about, Jim. He moved further left, knowing that he had room to the right. Now he's got a double. And watch this reaction. Working on a strike. Double here. Maintains a 3-pin lead. What a beautiful pitch that was.
You know, to golfers, rhythm is so important, and it's amazing after the break they can come right back and not have lost any of the momentum.
It really is, and I think that is done by what you're thinking mentally and staying focused mentally as you see that ball going just dead flush. You know, sitting down on the bench, you lose a little bit of rhythm, but I think you can keep that rhythm if you're focused mentally.
Muscle memory is how important to a bowler.
Extremely important. You know, running the feeling of the ball coming off your hand perfectly through your mind helps you execute great shots.
So you believe in visualization. I mean, when you amassed your 12 titles, you did that.
Absolutely. I would visualize what the ball felt like coming off my hand, that feel. It's a feel game. These guys know what it feels like when they let go of it, and it's perfect. They can turn around and walk back. They know the ball is going to hit the pocket. Controlling pin carry is another story. With that hit right there, Dave Arnold just threw a 3-bagger for a 3-pin lead.
Jeff with back-to-back strikes in 5 and 6.
What a break that was. That ball being way outside, hooking back, shredding the rack. This is why you have power and revolutions.
Talking about hand release, huh?
That's right, Jim. Watch this hand release. Look how far up underneath it he is in the rotation, and those fingers driving right up the back end of it. Just getting a handful. And watch the action of the head pin going to the sidewall.
Well, when they've got a family, holy cow.
Family reunion.
Kathy's here. She's a bowler. Jeff's twin brother, John, was a PBA member, used to bowl in the regionals. His older brother, Tom, PBA member who owns a couple of regional titles.
Look at that look. He knows it's game on now. He can find the pocket on both lanes. There's Jeff's twin brother, John.
No resemblance.
An avid bowler in his own right. Now, Dave Arnold working on a three-bagger. Strike here, three-pin game. Hang on. That shot looked pretty good. It was just a pinch left, and in this pattern, that's all it takes. Just a pinch left out of his hand. Hoping that it'll hold, avoiding a big split, which is a good break. He knows it too right away. He's, oh gosh, dog it. Got that one a little bit left. All right, let's cover the 3-6. You know, the one thing you don't want to do is add fuel to the fire. You get Jeff Lizzi with a four-timer. He's got his fans back here. You want to keep the heat on by throwing strikes. Dave Arnold now to disadvantage. Foundation frame, ninth frame, left lane. Dave Arnold trailing by 19. Beautiful. Right now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say the left lane is the better of the two lanes.
Jeff and his whole family had breakfast at the same restaurant they've been going to all week here in Toledo. They're open for breakfast and lunch. The owner said, if you want us to open it up, we'll feed the whole clan tonight for dinner.
I think that's fantastic. I think if Jeff wins, he's going to be paying.
The parents, and that was Kathy Dorn Lizzi, who's a PWBA champion in her own right, and I have no idea who that is.
Watch the action of the head pin. It's going to go to the sidewall and come screaming back. Hutton, the bird dog, we call it, just ripping the 10 out. And watch this reaction. That was a handful, Jim.
I think his brother Jeff and wife Kathy are more nervous than he is.
Absolutely. Watch the action of the head pin. This time gets interrupted, doesn't get all the way over to get the 10 pin. By not striking there, leaves the door open for Dave Arnold. Important now, the still shot, we need count, or Jeff needs count. A strike here will force Dave Arnold to throw 2 strikes in the 10th frame and 9 on his field ball to win by 1. Count, very important. And what a great match. And did you expect anything different? National Championship. Great shot.
What a finish after being open in the first. We talked about it, really. I mean, the first 3 frames, he looked a little bit confused.
And Jeff told me he's done that all week. He'd bowl a good game on one pair, go to the next pair, and be lost for 4 or 5 frames. All of a sudden, throw a 4 or 5 bagger, bail it out. He did exactly that game there. Now, Dave Arnold, a double and 9, he advances to meet Tommy Delutz. Anything less, Jeff Lizzi wins. Oh.
Needs some help.
Wow.
Brother.
Obscure sport. A lot of people play it in their backyards, but they don't realize there's an actual organization. And fortunately for me, my dad was involved in the national organization and was starting a club in Eureka where I lived at the time. And I just naturally adapted to it, and I just played it all the time, and it suited me perfect. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun growing up with my family. We didn't have an excessive amount of money, but you know, that's I think secondary. It's nice to have that if you have it, but it's not necessary to be happy. I had a very nice childhood. Basically supplied what we needed, and fortunately, I think that's one of the reasons one of the reasons we got into horseshoes is because it was a fairly inexpensive sport. The whole family could play.
17 times a California State Horseshoe pitching champion. Are they similar?
Playing horseshoes first and then get introduced to bowling later on. I think I picked up bowling fairly quickly without as much practice as had I never played horseshoes before. I think it would have taken me a lot longer to get good.
Final score in match number 2. Jeff Lizzi 224, Dave Arnold 203. So Jeff Lizzi in his hometown practically at Sandusky, but he considers it his home tournament. Second last week in Las Vegas. Up next, the second qualifier, Tommy Delutz, live from Toledo, Southwick Lanes. PBA National Championship live from Southwick Lanes in Toledo, Ohio. We just saw a terrific match. Jeff Lizzi 224 to 203 against Dave Arnold. Before that, Arnold ousted Chris Hayden. So it's Tommy Delutz qualified second against this man. Success factor for Jeff after the first was open, and 2 and 3, as you were saying, a little confusing. Well, we talked about his disappointing loss last week. He was second runner-up in Las Vegas, the only true power player in our final field of 5.
A really good look at Tommy Delutz Jr. Said he's been having trouble with the new oil the PBA has been using this year. This week, a little more early friction, and he likes to throw it. And it's just a terrific opening shot by Tommy. Take a look at this here. Look at that hand rotation and that follow-through going right at the target. And watch the action, the ball going right through the 1-3, and look at those eyes. You think this guy wants to win a major?
Fired up. 12th year as a pro. This would be his biggest victory.
Fucking idiot.
Playing a similar line to Jeff Lizzi.
Side toward my butt.
Should be deeper on this left lane.
38th in this event a year ago, but the second qualifier, his first PBA National Championship telecast. Nerves? No sign.
Oh, he sure didn't show those 2 shots. Just 2 terrific shots to start the match. Jeff's just got a great mental attitude, a great outlook on what he's doing, and a great reaction from that shot.
Other finishers, you see Parker Bone there, will be in his hometown, Latham, New York. Parker Bone, Empire State, next week right here on ESPN.
Patrick Healy Jr. out of Mexico City, tournament leader going in the last night.
It'd be fun if we could do a split screen. We could get Jeff staring on one side and Tommy staring on the other and have a stare down, because, I mean, intensity's at a peak here.
These guys are 2 really, really intense individuals. What a great shot from Jeff Lizzi. Makes the match all even. Unless both of them strike out, and Jeff would lose by 10 because it'd be 300 to 290. A great shot and didn't get that hit. Tommy using 2 different balls. More hook, using a ball that hooks more on the right lane because that is the tire of the lane. Watch the action, and that could have struck 9 out of 10 times.
Based on what you've seen so far, favored lane, left or right?
I think the left lane.
Because?
Hooks more, there's more friction. The guys can throw it further to the right without fear of it not hooking back. I think the right lane's a little tight, a little touchy down the lane.
2-time All-America selection out of William Patterson College back in New Jersey. Won his first career title back in '99, Lakewood, California. But this is a major, and the pressure is so much greater.
I agree, and Tommy's come a long way in his 12 years out here. He's made a lot of telecasts over the last 4 or 5 years. With the 1 win under his belt, lots more confidence. Great shot. Using a weaker ball with a weaker pin, and what the weaker pin does is it doesn't make the ball hook quite as much, and it's a perfect combination for him on the left lane, which does hook more.
I'm watching Jeff. He was a bit bemused by the pin action there. Just said to Tommy, nice shot.
Jeff Lizzi working on a double, can take the lead.
We're getting some great reactions from both, aren't we?
Oh, these guys they're 2 great guys. You'll never meet 2 nicer people in your life. But watch this. This ball looks like it's in the nose zone, and it ends up tickling the head pin, and look at that action.
And a little blessing on a Sunday.
Atta boy. Now, the good lane. After a break like that, this ball should be dead flush.
See ya.
That's what we're talking about, and that's what Jeff Lizzi's talking about.
Kathy's a little more exuberant. That's brother John there.
Tommy Delutz, pretty tough competitor, unfazed. He chose to finish on the left lane. See how he handles this right lane.
Now, you say unfazed, but you have to be aware of the crowd and the crowd reaction.
Sure, you are. I mean, but that's, again, getting back to the mental aspect of it. This is the problem that the right lane is giving everybody. A little hang down the lane, that ball just not catching enough for the head pin, leaving the 2-8, and not an easy spare. Cover both pins with the ball. He should move right of target, right of his strike target, allowing the ball to hook into the 2-8. Needs a hook. Wow.
Woo. Other finishers, we talked about 56 games to get in. We started with 130. There's last year's champion. Went on, as we mentioned, to use this event as a springboard for Player of the Year honors, Norm Duke.
Brian LeClaire, we're going to be in his, very close to his hometown next week. We call him Eclair out here on tour.
Affectionately. Steve Hoskins out of Florida.
Tarpon Springs.
I would imagine the TV sets are jamming in Flushing, New York, especially back there at the Whitestone Lanes where Tommy works part-time in the pro shop when he's home.
Great pitch.
A terrific match. We've got Jeff Lizzi and Tommy Delutz, and the winner advances against the #1 qualifier, Walter Ray Williams Jr.
On a 4-bagger, that would be 4 strikes in a row for those of you keeping score at home. Needs a hook.
Last one came back.
Whoa.
Well, that's the trouble we see on the right lane. That ball got down to the break point, which is the break point's where the ball starts to face up to the pocket, and watch how it just keeps going, never grabs the lane. Leaving a 1, 2, 4, 6, 10.
Jeff and Kathy, almost newlyweds, and, well, how was the honeymoon and things?
Yeah, December 2nd, I got to marry my soulmate. She's the best thing that ever happened to me, and I think it's boosted my career up. It was a great wedding. It was in New Jersey. Had my whole family, her whole family, a lot of bowlers, a lot of friends, and it couldn't be any better.
That was Kathy who said hit it right there. I mentioned that she is a PWBA champion in her own right, Kathy Lizzi. Just have to find a way to get Kathy out of her shyness.
Yeah, watch the action of the head pin go to the sidewall. And it's just looking for the 10. What a great break. Now Tommy Delutz working on a strike. Right lane. And again, we see the trouble on the right lane. There's hang down the lane on the right lane. Get the ball a little bit too far to the right, Jim. It just doesn't make it back to the pocket. Deep inside line of Tommy Delutz Jr. all the way out to about the 7th board, and just doesn't have enough friction to get back to the head pin. Friction is what makes the ball hook. Friction and then rotation.
Tommy's last telecast, also a PBA major, the 2000 Tournament of Champions, but oxygen gets a little heavy in a major, doesn't it?
It sure does. The spare there, he's only down by 12. Jeff working on a strike. Now Tommy in the left lane, the good lane. You know, you can breathe a little easier on the left lane. You know that you can miss a little bit right and the ball's going to get back.
You've been talking a lot about the deep inside line.
Well, the deep inside line, what it does for these two players is it gives them angle through the front, and that angle through the front creates hold left.
Here's what we're talking about. Now watch it. It's live.
In between 4th and 5th arrow. Dead flush.
Big double now. You're in the title match. Come on. Right
Here, Kathy rooting on Jeff. She's saying one double here, you're in the title match. Jeff knows it. This is a big shot. Getting past the right lane. What a shot that was!
Right into your living room.
You really got to thread the needle on this lane here, and Jeff Lizzi does just that. 6 goes to the wall, does its job, and look at those eyes. He's going, come on, carry the 10. Yeah, baby.
Only 10 days left to make your selection for one of 7 pros to compete in the Battle at Little Creek. Simply log on to the news section of the PBA Tour's website at pba.com to cast your vote. And while you're there, you can browse for the site for all the latest information. A strike and he's in.
There you go. That's the good lane. You got to do it on the good lane. You got to get away, get by on the right. Avoid any disasters on the right lane. Strike on the left. Get lucky. Carry a strike on the right. Put a string together. Okay, and somebody's got a little cell phone action going.
That's your wife calling from Florida, wants to know what flight you're on.
Honey, I'll be home at about 9 o'clock. Keep the kids up late.
Meatloaf's in the oven for you when you get home.
Meatloaf's in the oven. Now, foundation frame, 9th frame. Tommy Delutz. All right. And that's what we've seen many times on the right lane.
Well, we told you about the website and the battle at Little Creek. Look who's got 3.7% of the votes. There's still lots of time. You've got a lot of dangling chads there.
Not exactly the fan favorite. I'll get the state of Florida. The state of Florida would have voted for me, but they had a little trouble. Anyway.
All of Indiana's voted for Mike there.
Well, of course. And they should. He deserves to be there. Plus, he just won a couple of weeks ago.
That battle at Little Creek, by the way, will be at a naval base in Virginia Beach, Virginia. That's going to be a great venue, including the winter telecast here on ESPN.
Tommy Delutz, 239 possible. Jeff Lizzi, 251.
NHL tonight, Barry Melrose, Darren Pang, the whole gang, 11:30 Eastern Time, a special edition of the NHL Tonight from the All-Star Game in Colorado. Watch The Hockey Show for hockey fans to get highlights and analysis from around the league. And for more information, log on to ESPN.com.
Jeff Lizzi looking on as Tommy Delutz gets ready to throw the biggest shot of the week. The reason why I say that's the biggest shot is because now that forces Jeff Lizzi to get the first hit in the 10th on the tough right lane.
First time that Tommy smiled in about 4 frames.
Well, you know, now Tommy, it doesn't even matter what he does on his fill shot. Something in the high 230s, Jeff Lizzi will need the first hit. Actually, I shouldn't say that, because if Tommy strikes here, Jeff Lizzi would need the first hit and 9 to win. 9 spare to win. Count's crucial.
That's the way it sets up.
That's count.
Good call. What an uphill battle it's been for Tommy, too. I mean, literally fighting the crowd. So a strike and 9 for this man.
Not only battling Jeff Lizzi, battling the crowd, the elements, the lane conditions. Jeff Lizzi, same situation he was in last week. Must come through in the 10th frame. Tripping the four-pin forward, that ball was light. Gets a handful, this ball's wide. Grabs the lane at the last second, comes back, tickles a head pin. We've got a spill on 48. What a great break.
Look at that.
Look at those eyes. Come on, ball, hook.
Come on, come on.
Oh. All right, now we still need 9. We have a tie. We have a tie game if he spares this. If he spares this, we have a tie and a 1-frame roll-off.
Befitting the year's first major.
I'll tell you, this is about as good action as you can get. Major championship. Needs to hook.
Hurry. So we've got a 1-frame roll-off, and Tommy Delutz gets to pick which lane he wants. One ball roll-off. The higher seed selects the lane and the order, so that's Tommy.
We'll keep doing it until the tie's broken. Right now, advantage goes to Tommy Delutz. He's got the left lane. That shot.
Tell you what, pretty gritty.
This kid is tough. He knows how to play. Great maple moxie out there. Now with Jeff Lizzi, he's bowling on the left lane as well. Wow.
This is just terrific.
Now they're going to the right lane. It's who can perform on the right lane. It's going to get this done. The ugly right lane. Doesn't get any better than this.
It's kind of like watching Justin Leonard or Davis Love go eyeball to eyeball with Tiger, isn't it?
I'm telling you. How about that one? Tommy does what he has to do. He gets up and he strikes on the right lane.
Come on, babe.
All the pressure now on Jeff Lizzi.
Oh, Heavenly Father. She can't watch.
Please.
Great shot.
I'll tell you what. When's the last time you saw a match like this?
Oh, it's been a long time. This is one of the best matches I've seen, especially in a major championship.
Walter Ray Williams awaits the winner. He's like, I don't want any part of this.
It's like being thrown in the lion cage. Ring it's in, and that would be the only thing that would stop one of these players on that lane.
Come on, this is all you.
Tommy doesn't even shoot the spare. It's whatever you get on the first ball, a strike here. Jeff advances to the championship match against Walter Ray Williams Jr. Tommy knows he threw a great shot. It's all up to Jeff. You want to talk about pressure? These guys know how to ball under pressure. What a great match and a great performance by Tommy Delutz Jr. and Jeff Lizzi.
They are on their feet at a sold-out Southwick Lanes. We're live in Toledo, Ohio. Standing ovation. Tommy Delutz and Jeff Lizzi. What a match it was.
What volume?
Success factor for today, Jeff Lizzi. Just about even. 9 strikes on 47, 8 on 48, and your old friend momentum on Jeff Lizzi's side.
You got it. Jeff Lizzi started off where he left off the last match. Strike on the left lane. Our tournament leader, Walter Ray Williams Jr., 32 times.
How do you get up there after watching the match that we just saw and you're running into a freight train?
Especially with the kind of ball reaction that Walter has, I don't think he has a very good reaction. Looked like he struggled in practice. Looked like he struggled an hour before the telecast. This ball going in light. And then you see a guy like Jeff Lizzi striking at will. But it's still Walter Ray Williams Jr., and when you bowl against him, anything can happen.
I'm trying.
A record of 11-19 as the #1 seed.
You know, Jim, a lot of times what happens is you have a great shot during the week, you get on the telecast, the lanes are a little bit different, and it's just not conducive.
And his wife, Paige, kind of outnumbered. Paige Pennington.
Sweet, sweet lady. I love Paige. What a nice gal. Took me to dinner, her and Walter, back in Indianapolis in the fall. And of course, he paid, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Now, Jeff Lizzi working on a strike. Needs to hook.
The voice of Randy Peterson, known as Alligator Arms, back in Hollywood, Florida.
Alligator arms, I like that.
When the check comes,
Yeah.
those arms get short, don't
Absolutely. Jeff getting a great break. Jeff getting a great break on the right lane. Only leaving the 2-pin going in light. You know, and if you miss, you don't hit the pocket on that lane. If you can get a spare, great.
they? Second half of ABC's All-Star Sunday. Coming up, the NFL's top players in Honolulu for the Pro Bowl. Players competing this year include Culpepper, Rich Gannon, Super Bowl MVP Ray Lewis. Was that defense any good? Action kicks off 5:30 tonight on ABC Sports. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.
Okay, that ball going high on the left lane. I think now it's time to make an adjustment. He's thrown almost every ball dead flush on that lane. That ball goes in high. Time to make a move. Lane's breaking down and changing. In between 4th and 5th arrow, this ball catches too much of the head pin, leaving the 4-pin. Easy spare. National championship on the line.
His only victory back in '92 at the Brunswick Memorial World Open, Lake Zurich.
Walter likes blowing in that thumb hole to give him a better feel.
And a pretty emotional man right there. You could hear that reaction.
What a great shot. Walter goes in a little bit light. Gets into the swish zone. Head pin goes to the sidewall, slaps the 5-7 silly, and watch this reaction. Yeah, baby. Game on.
You know, that stat was a little misleading. 11 and 19 is the top seed, because what that means is there have been 30 championships where he's been the best through the grueling qualifying.
Absolutely. And like I said before, if the lanes are a little bit different, not conducive, and Walter can't figure them out in time, he ends up losing. This shows you how much I know. I thought he had struggled. I thought he'd struggle early. He's got a 3-bagger. There you go. Switch zone on that right lane is a popular play for everybody. Hard to get the ball to go flush on that lane. Flush meaning the ball deeper into the 1-3 pocket. The lighter, the mixing hit is carrying well. Watch this ball way outside, hooks back. Looked real close to Walter Ray's shot on that lane. 5-pin, kind of falling down nonchalantly. Now Jeff Lizzi working on strike. Good lane, left lane.
Well, if there was any gas seeping out of his tank after that emotional overtime win against Tommy Delutz, he just filled the tank back up with a double.
This guy, there's no letdown in this guy. Mentally, just a tough competitor. He made the adjustment on the left lane. That ball, dead flush. Now Walter Ray working on a 3-bagger. What a great shot. You know, it's amazing. Walter Ray looked like he was struggling in practice, looked like he had a poor ball reaction, had trouble hitting the pocket, and goes spare 4-bagger for a major championship. He is just amazing.
Terrific action befitting the first major of the PBA season. We're at Southwick Lanes, Toledo, Ohio. Jeff Lizzi matched up in a dandy against Walter Ray Williams.
Jeff Lizzi's ball going much further to the right than Walter Ray's. Notice that his ball's out around the 10th board. Walter Ray's about the 13th, 14th board. And it just didn't bite.
Especially for a man who's 20th in the PBA World Power Rankings. Bad break.
Terrible break. Really bad time for that to happen. Now we have to regroup.
And refocus.
Absolutely. Back to the left lane is good lane. Take a deep breath and just get back on it. Walter Ray still has to bowl in that right lane. Did you see how fast the messenger came over looking for the 10? Watch this. Wow. The bad news? Bad news rocked it, but it didn't knock it over.
Lady Luck has deserted the Sandusky native.
Absolutely. Right now, it's just a question of, or a matter of Jeff not getting the breaks. And Walter Ray just being Walter Ray. Just an amazing individual.
If he wins today, he will need only one more title to tie Mark Roth, who's second on the all-time title holders list. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's incredible. Walter Ray on the right lane leaving the flat 10. The good news is he left himself a makeable spare, avoiding any kind of trouble. And this guy doesn't miss spares.
At least one title a year for the past 8.
You know, he's been so good for so long. I think a lot of times folks out here take his skill and his talent for granted. Right now, he's putting on a clinic, showing you the kind of touch that enables you to win 32 times. Yeah! Just another great shot by Walter. Ho-hum. Jeff knows what he needs to do. It's now or never. First major. The only thing on his mind is striking. Oh!
Boink. Got some help.
Yeah, it's just amazing that in the 4 matches that we've seen, it's been so difficult for the guys to get the ball to go dead flush on that right lane. The Wally shot, the light shot, is the shot to play on that lane. Lane 47 doesn't seem to be a problem. Jeff Lizzi, 9th frame, must strike.
Oh, my!
Still game here. We still got game. This ball deep inside. Doesn't look like it pushes as far to the right. Going to catch too much of the headpin and trip for Bowler's best friend.
You know, we talk about this man being very, very intelligent, and you said at the very top of the telecast, Randy, that these are thinking man's conditions.
Absolutely. You have to have imagination to bowl on this stuff, not to mention all the tricks. You have to be versatile. Walter Ray Williams Jr., very smart guy, knows his game and knows what to do with his game to get the ball to the 1-3.
Thank you very much. How about 33 PBA titles? This one a major to start off 2001. We'll come back, crown our champion, and talk with him live from Toledo.